Hi everyone. So we had an open day at the brewery on Saturday, which is a great day. But I said I'd do a virtual tour for those people who couldn't make it. So this is the brewery behind me. You can see our crowdfunder names on the door there. I'll take you in and we'll have a look around. And as you can see, it's pretty small. We've just got one big room really, well, one small room really, and this is where the magic happens. It's looking pretty tidy today actually, but on a brew day it can be very busy in here with kind of hoses everywhere and ladders and things, and it can get pretty full. In terms of the process then, that kind of big, looks like a hot tub is basically that. It's a hot liquor tank. So that's hot water, which we heat up to about 75 degrees. And then in the mash tun, which is a smaller vessel in the corner here, we add grains, malted barley and other grains with the hot water and let that steep for about an hour. And that big porridge basically sits for about an hour as the sugars and enzymes are extracted from the grains. And that's what we're looking for, to get out as much sugars as possible so that we can turn those later on in the process into alcohol. So it sits in the mash tun for around an hour, and then once it's finished steeping, once it's at the right level, we move the wort, so the sugary liquid, over into the kettle. And this is very simply a big kettle. It's got two big elements in the bottom. We put all the wort in there and boil it. And again, we boil it for around an hour. And at this part of the process is when we add hops. The earlier in the process that you add hops when it's boiling, the more bitterness you get, and the later you add hops, the more aroma and flavour you get. The big blue pump there at the bottom is a whirlpool pump, so that at the end of the boil fires round, creates a huge vortex inside the kettle and tries to pull out all of the stuff, all the crap that we don't want in the finished beer, so we can dig that out later. Once it's finished boiling then, it goes through this heat exchanger, so the kind of blue plate heat exchanger, and what that does is takes hot wort in one direction, cold water passes past it in the other direction, and that quickly cools down the wort so that we don't get any nasty things growing in there. And at the same time we recapture the cold water so it goes back into the hot liquor tank, and we can use that later on for cleaning or for another brew. The wort then goes into this fermentation vessel, which is just basically a big stainless steel tank, and it's here that we add yeast. And the yeast does the magic stuff, turning the sugar that we've created, the sugary wort, into alcohol and into carbon dioxide. And you can also add hops at this stage, and again, adding hops this late in the process gives you lots of aroma and flavour without that bitterness that you might otherwise get. The final two tanks you can see next to the fermentation vessel are conditioning tanks. The first one's a more basic conditioning tank, and this is where we move the beer into once it's finished fermenting, and it sits there for depending on the style, a few weeks, maybe longer, to condition, the flavours mature, and again, more of the stuff that we don't want in the beer drops out of it, and the beer gets brighter and cleaner. And the final tank is basically a slightly fancier version of that. It's a uni-tank, which means you can both ferment and condition in the same vessel. So that's it really. It's very small, it's small but perfectly formed, and as I say, this is where the magic happens. Cheers!